Hi, I'm Andrea and welcome to Productive C Sharp. In this video, I'm going to show you Lambda expressions improvements in C Sharp 10. I'm using this program that is targeting on S6 and using C Sharp 9. And I'm going to show you how you can improve it using these new features. Let's take a look at the code. In line 5 and 6, I'm defining two delegates, one pointing to the readLine method and the second one pointing to the WriteLine method. Then I define a calculate delegate that is basically a func that takes a delegate and return an object. Then I call this function 3 times, the first time passing a Lambda expression, the second time passing a method group, and the third time passing another method group, but that is of type func double double. Let's have a look at what it does. When I run this code, first it's asking me for a number, and I provide 10, and it's printing the square of that number. The second time is actually printing insert integer. Integer is the string I specify using the display name attribute on this method group. So the function is somewhat using reflection to get that value. So let me put another time 10, and I'm getting 100. And finally, it's asking me to insert a double, let's say 1.5, and I get the square of that number. For completeness, let's have a look about the body of this method. So first of all, I'm getting the first attribute of type display name, and then I'm getting the display name out of it. If I can't find the attribute, I'm going to use number. And then I simply write insert and then name. I read a line from the console, and then based on the type of the operation, I either pass the integer or pass the double and return the value. Otherwise, I'm throwing a not supported exception. Okay, the body of this method is not strictly important for the purpose of this video. Okay, now let's have a look how we can improve this code. Obviously, there is some stuff here that I don't particularly like. I don't like the fact that I have to specify the type so many times. I don't like this cast. So let's see if we can improve in C Sharp 10. So first of all, let me try to use the var keyword here. Obviously, I'm still compiling using C Sharp 9, and this is not compiling. The C Sharp 9 is not able to infer the type of a method group from this code. So you need to upgrade to C Sharp 10 in order to have this support. So starting from C Sharp 10, method groups have a natural type that is inferred based on the type of the method that you specify. In this case, readLine is of type func string question mark. I can try to do the same for the second console WriteLine operation, but in this case the compiler is not able to help. And the reason is because there are 17 overloads of WriteLine, everyone taking a different arguments. So the compiler is not able to uniquely identify the natural type of the method group. And so in this case, we need to still specify the type. Fair enough. Let's take a look at this func delegate object. Let's see if the compiler is smart enough to figure this out. And I'm using var again. So this time C Sharp 10 compiler is able to figure out the type, the natural type of this Lambda expression. Yes, Lambda expressions now in C Sharp 10 also have a natural type that is automatically inferred by the compiler. The compiler here is automatically able to understand that this is a func taking a delegate and returning a double. But wait a moment, before I was using an object as a return type, now is using a double. Well, the compiler is choosing automatically the best common type as return type. In this case, the compiler knows that int or doubles are returned, and double is the best common type. But you can override that, and you can specify now a return type on a Lambda expression in C Sharp 9, and I can say object here. And by doing that, automatically the type becomes func delegate object. Okay, so you can use a return types explicitly in a Lambda expression to help the compiler in some particular scenarios. But let's have a look at the most ugliest part of the code that is actually discussed. Can the compiler figure it out, the Lambda expression natural type in this situation so that we don't need to do any casting? Yes, it does. And that's absolutely awesome. So now I don't need to do any of this casting. I can remove all of these castings and the code still compile. But there is more to this. Starting from C Sharp 10, Lambda expressions also support providing attributes. So the only reason why I had two methods here, int square and double square, was because I wanted to add a display name attribute. But now there's no reason to have two separate methods in these scenarios, because I can just directly use the lambda expression here and the lambda expression there and move the attributes directly in at the time when we call it, because attributes are now supported for lambda expression in C# 10. And so this code now is a lot more compact, is easier to understand. There are no horrible casting. You can use var in a lot of places. You can even specify the return type of a delegate types. And these are quite awesome improvements to lambda expressions that now are basically making lambda expression at the same level as method and local function. Basically, the compiler in C# 10 reach parity with methods and local functions for lambda expressions and method groups as well. But you might ask yourself, why this is useful? Well, you can now create APIs that are a lot more powerful using these features and make those API usable to C# 10 users. One of the most notable examples of a new API that allows you to leverage these features in a very nice way is the new ASP.NET Core minimal APIs. So now I'm going to switch to my browser, and I want to show you the documentation of our ASP.NET Core 6 minimal API that is shown here on the screen. So this is a method, the minimal API feature in ASP.NET Core allows you to define an endpoint in ASP.NET Core without having to create a controller and a method for an action, but you can do it directly using a simple method call and passing a lambda expression that represents your actual endpoint. Here, map_get allows you to do that. You're basically saying when the user is doing an HTTP request using slash and passing an ID, basically call this lambda expression here. And as you can see, there are attributes provided for each parameter of the lambda expression. So the lambda expression support attributes both at the level of the lambda expression and also at the level of the parameters. And then the entire natural type of this lambda expression is inferred by the compiler automatically. And you don't have to do any horrible casting in order to call this map_get method. So the minimal API in ASP.NET Core allow you to create a very compact HTTP API without having to create classes or methods, but just simply using lambda expression in a single file. And this is a very handy feature that is very popular and is only made possible thanks to this new lambda expressions improvement introduced in C# 10. And that's everything I wanted to show you in the video. Thank you very much for watching.